All right, we'll play out the entire reaction of Manoj Tiwari, who's asked for resignation of Arvind Kejriwal. But here's the big setback for our JD chief Lalu Prasad in a Fodder scam. The former chief minister of Bihar is looking at a separate trial in each case, is what the Supreme Court has directed, that there should be a separate trial in each case. My colleague Anusha joining us with more details. Yes, Anusha, what happened in the court?
So, Divya, as you pointed out, this is clearly a setback to Lalu Prasad Yadav. What the Supreme Court today has clarified is that these are different cases, different set of facts which have come to light, and hence keeping this reason into mind, 120B, the charge of criminal conspiracy, will be tried. Lalu Prasad Yadav will be tried for this charge separately on all the cases. So that's what the Supreme Court today has clarified. What this in effect means that at the lower court in the trial stage, now a fresh trial will have to begin. Lalu Prasad Yadav will have to go ahead and face the charge of criminal conspiracy. Once again, he has been convicted in one of the cases. Remember, there are about 50 separate cases going on in the Fodder scam. Now, with the Supreme Court saying that the criminal conspiracy charge will be tried separately, that is just an aggravating factor as far as sentencing in the case is concerned.
Also, Anusha, it's interesting because what we're given to understand is now that CBI is allowed to appeal in all the drop charges against Lalu Prasad.
Yeah, that's what the High Court had not agreed with. The High Court, had said that you cannot, try a person for the same offence multiple times. That's what the High Court had said, and that was the reason CBI could not go ahead and press these charges at the lower court where the case is still going on. Now, with the Supreme Court clarifying that this charge can be put separately on all the cases, at the trial court, this charge would be put. Now, like we have seen in a lot of cases, like you remember the last time, the Babri Masjid demolition case, 120B, criminal conspiracy charge has a political color to it, which means that whatever happened, whatever was done through a concerted effort. It is also a charge which, makes an offence as an aggravation factor. The sentencing is much tougher and harsher. So that's what the implication here as well. Now at the trial court, we have to face this charge once again. The CBI is open and it can go ahead and press this charge, disagreeing with the order of the High Court, which the Supreme Court has given a fresh verdict.
All right, but also, Anusha, take us through what's the maximum punishment that we're looking at for Lalu Prasad in the conspiracy charge that now is going to be tried under?
So he is basically being tried under Prevention of Corruption Act and also misusing his position as a public official because he held a public post that time. Under those sections, the maximum punishment ranges from 7 years to life imprisonment. Under the Prevention of Corruption Act, it's about 7 years. For 307, it goes, sometimes to as high as life for imprisonment. But these are charges. They'll have to be tried. 120B, what it serves, the purpose is 120B can aggravate the sentencing from the minimum to maximum. But these are long-term things we are talking. As of now, it's a setback to him. He'll have to go to the trial court, face the charges, and these are very harsh charges under the Prevention of Corruption Act that he's facing.
All right, but also the contention that Lalu Prasad cannot be charged for the same offence twice, that was made in the High Court. Now, does the CBI have a watertight case against him as he's going to be tried again?
So, Ravina, that was the crux of the argument at the Supreme Court. What the question that you raised, and that's what repeatedly the judges also asked. That, once someone has been tried for one charge, can you put the same charge at different cases? CBI argument is that when we are investigating the scam, which is about 900 crore scam, money was withdrawn from the public exchequer at different points, through different ways and through different media. As the fresh evidence keeps coming in, we are putting in the charges, we are including that in the charge sheet, and because of that reason, because there is fresh evidence and there are multiple actions that have happened. It's not one action that led to it. That is the prime reason that the CBI said. So in law, when you have multiple actions, though it's the same offence, if you have stolen something and stolen it multiple times, then you will have to be tried for that charge multiple times. That was the argument of the CBI, and the Supreme Court has accepted that argument.
All right, so though he's been convicted in a separate Fodder scam case, as Anusha is pointing out, former Bihar Chief Minister now would be tried for criminal conspiracy charges as well. CBI had earlier challenged Jharkhand High Court ruling that dropping criminal conspiracy charges against the former Bihar Chief Minister in the Fodder scam case was a big jolt to Lalu Prasad. separate trial in each case is what the Supreme Court has said. In the Fodder scam, Lalu completely netted as well. Now, the argument in the court had been that you can't try the same person twice for the same offence. Now, let's go across to Nandkishore Yadav from the BJP. Mr. Yadav, thanks for joining us on India Today. Your first response to the Supreme Court's observation.
लेकिन स्वाभाविक है, जो ऐसा करता है वैसा भरता है, और सब लोग जानते हैं कि फॉडर स्कैम में लालू प्रसाद जी की भूमिका रही थी। और जब हाई कोर्ट के निर्णय के खिलाफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट सीबीआई गई तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसको स्वीकार किया है। मैं मानता हूं कि बिहार के अंदर, बिहार की जो आज बदनाम हुआ है पूरे देश के अंदर, उसमें बहुत बड़ी भूमिका एक फॉडर स्कैम की रही है। और जैसा लालू जी ने किया उससे भुगतना पड़ेगा उनको, न्याय की जीत हुई है।
जी, पर जिस तरह से अभी ये वाक्य सामने आ रहा है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि सेपरेट केसेस के अंदर अब ट्राई करा जाना चाहिए लालू प्रसाद को, आपको लगता है कि इसको देखते हुए नीतीश कुमार को अब अपनी सरकार के लिए भी एक कदम उठाना चाहिए, आरजेडी के साथ जो उनका गठबंधन है उस पर दोबारा सोचना चाहिए?
देखिए, नीतीश कुमार जी की चुप्पी आश्चर्यजनक है। केवल कुर्सी बचाने के लिए नीतीश कुमार जी इस प्रकार के समझौते किए। उन्होंने एक छवि अपनी बनाने की कोशिश की, कानून अपना काम करेगा, कानून का राज कायम करेंगे, भ्रष्टाचारियों से संबंध नहीं रखेंगे, लेकिन केवल सत्ता की खातिर जिस प्रकार समझौते किए उन्होंने, वो आश्चर्यजनक है। अब नीतीश जी को मुंह खोलना चाहिए और उनको बताना चाहिए क्या वो इस प्रकार के आरोपित व्यक्ति के साथ सरकार चलाना चाहते हैं या नहीं चलाना चाहते।
अभी आरोपी सिद्ध नहीं हुए हैं, पर जिस तरह से अभी दोबारा केसेस ट्राई करे जाएंगे और ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट का आदेश है, इसका मतलब यही है नंदकिशोर यादव जी की कहीं ना कहीं लालू प्रसाद के ऊपर मुकदमा होगा तो सरकार के ऊपर भी जो है उसका रिफ्लेक्शन आएगा कि किस तरह से जो सरकार नीतीश के अंडर है, नीतीश और आरजेडी के गठबंधन के अंदर है, उसको भी जवाब देना पड़ेगा जनता को कि किस तरह की सरकार नीतीश चला रहे हैं। आपको लगता है कि अब जो है नीतीश कुमार को लालू प्रसाद के साथ अपना गठबंधन तोड़ देना चाहिए?
देखिए, लालू जी तो कन्विक्टेड हैं दूसरे केस में, सजा याफ्ता हैं और वो कोई चुनाव नहीं लड़ सकते हैं। इसके बावजूद उन्होंने समझौता किया लालू यादव से। साहबुद्दीन आरजेडी के राष्ट्रीय कार्य समिति का नंबर है।
तो ये किस तरह का समझौता है? आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि ये समझौता आगे नहीं चलेगा? नंदकिशोर यादव from the BJP joining us with the first reaction there, but more political reactions coming in as well, and it's a big jolt to Lalu Prasad. In October 2013, Lalu Prasad was convicted by a special CBI court in Ranchi, sentenced to 5 years imprisonment in one of the cases arising out of Fodder scam, as a consequence of which he was disqualified from contesting any election. He then moved to Jharkhand High Court challenging the CBI verdict. Jharkhand High Court in its ruling had ordered that proceedings against Prasad be continued under section 201, that is causing disappearance of evidence, and 511, attempting to commit offences punishable with imprisonment. Now the court, however, dropped the other charges on the grounds that a person once convicted or acquitted cannot be tried for the same offence again, and that's why we're looking at the criminal conspiracy charge against Lalu Prasad as well. My colleague Anusha continues to be with us. Now Anusha, take us through what's the next step. We understand there are 3 cases where the same charges have been made out against Prasad.
So, Divina, from here on, it's a long, tedious legal process as we foresee. The criminal conspiracy charge will have to be argued at the trial court. Like the course of law always is, you have to argue the 120B. CBI today has merely got the permission to argue and press for 120B. It is completely up to the trial court to look it up, to see whether 120B can be applied or not. But earlier, in principle, there was an argument that you cannot impose this charge. You cannot put a charge for the same offence multiple times. So in principle, CBI today has got a permission. They'll have to go to the trial court, put their evidence, convince the judge in the trial court that they in fact have evidence to try Lalu Prasad Yadav for criminal conspiracy, and that the new evidence that has emerged is sufficient and substantial. And that's where the court, the case moves from there on. As you pointed out, he has been convicted in one of the cases. He has got bail from the Supreme Court. That case stays. These are the other rung of cases that we have seen against Lalu Prasad Yadav in the Fodder scam.
All right, with the legal impact will also be the big political impact, because it's the RJD and Nitish Kumar and the Congress, which is in Mahagathbandhan. So you have the three parties together in the Mahagathbandhan, the RJD, JDU and Congress. RJD, where Lalu Prasad is now set to face CBI heat, and all the cases against him in the Fodder scam is looking at legal trouble. The political trouble just mounting from here. Big leverage for Nitish Kumar, though, this point of time with RJD in the dock. But at the same time, big moral question being posed by BJP this morning, that whether they can continue in power with a tainted chief of a party of RJD. Let me go across to Anusha, who's joining us right now from the Supreme Court in the capital. Now, Anusha, first take our viewers once again through what exactly happened in the court. What will be Lalu's defense from here on, and what's the maximum punishment one is looking at once the trial begins?
So, Divina, the judgment was scheduled today and the two-judge bench has pronounced its order. CBI's appeal has been allowed. 120B usually is a charge which is clubbed with the primary charge in most of the cases, unless there is a separate 120B case you're trying, which is a very rare thing that you see in cases. So it is usually clubbed. In this case, it is clubbed with under the Prevention of the Corruption Act, abusing your position of power as a public servant. These are the various sections under the IPC which Lalu Prasad Yadav is currently being tried under. What 120B does is that it gives a perception that it was in fact a thought out conspiracy that happened, and that's what it is. The implication, as we have been repeatedly pointing out, is that this charge will have to be argued at the trial court. The CBI has got the permission to press for multiple instances where 120B can be pressed, as long as it can convince the trial court that these are two separate actions, actus reus what you call, that happened, and there is separate evidence for them. The CBI is free to go ahead and argue that case. If the trial court accepts, 120B stays. And you know, as far as the broader implication on the politics of it is concerned, Lalu Prasad Yadav is already convicted. He was already debarred when this entire alliance had happened. Now with this new charge coming in, it just adds another layer of moral question that, you know, what happens to the alliance and what happens to the corruption-free governance, with the Supreme Court saying that there are multiple instances of corruption that have happened. So clearly, as you pointed out, this is a question that the political class needs to face.
Absolutely. But Anusha, when we're looking at trial of all cases, now take our viewers step by step how there are three cases that are pending against Lalu Prasad, and there's another one which is involving the withdrawal of the illegal money when he was the chief minister, to the tune of 96 lakh rupees is what we're looking at. So these are cases. Take our viewers through it step by step. Now, how the trial begins from here on, which are the cases that will be reopened, and what is the maximum punishment in each?
So the maximum punishment under the charges which he's been tried, as we pointed out, is up to life imprisonment for abusing his position as a public official. Under the Prevention of Corruption Act, it can go up to 7 years, depending on whether court finds him guilty or not. 120B, if proved, if upheld by the Supreme Court or any other court of law, is accepted as an aggravating factor, is accepted as one of the charges which leads to the maximum sentence. So that's the broad contour of it. The three cases you're pointing out in which Lalu Prasad Yadav is directly involved. However, there are about 50 cases in Fodder scam which are going on in different courts. There are special courts which have been set up which are looking at this case. The interesting aspect of this is that though decades have passed, CBI continues to gather more evidence on this. CBI continues to say that we are still looking at more evidence coming in. So, you know, as far as a logical conclusion of this matter is concerned, it is going to take a long time. It is still at the stage of the trial courts. Lalu Prasad Yadav, in one of the cases as we spoke, has got bail from the Supreme Court, which means that the Supreme Court doubted the substance of the evidence which was given to him. So he had already got a big relief from the Supreme Court on that end when he got bail. However, he stands convicted. The conviction has not been overturned by the Supreme Court or any other court of law, so he's debarred from contesting elections. This is just another layer of the legal battles which he'll have to fight. If CBI at another stage finds more evidence, he may be named in other cases also. CBI is still at a stage of investigating this matter.
And the basic of it, Anusha, and the basic charge that we need to talk about with our viewers as well, Anusha, is the criminal conspiracy charge. Now, where the case is set to begin as well for Lalu Prasad. Be with me, Anusha, because we spoke to the BJP leader, and this is what Nand Kishore Yadav has said already. Fingers being pointed at Mahagathbandhan, with Nitish Kumar now being questioned over his ally RJD chief Lalu Prasad facing CBI heat, and as well as the trial begins in the criminal conspiracy charge against.
जो ऐसा करता है वैसा भरता है, और सब लोग जानते हैं कि फॉडर स्कैम में लालू प्रसाद जी की भूमिका रही थी। और जब हाई कोर्ट के निर्णय के खिलाफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट सीबीआई गई तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसको स्वीकार किया है। मैं मानता हूं कि बिहार के अंदर, बिहार की जो आज बदनाम हुआ पूरे देश के अंदर, उसमें बहुत बड़ी भूमिका एक फॉडर स्कैम की रही है। और जैसा लालू जी ने क्या उसको भुगतना पड़ेगा उनको, न्याय की जीत हुई है।
जी, पर जिस तरह से अभी ये वाक्य सामने आ रहा है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि सेपरेट केसेस के अंदर अब ट्राई करा जाना चाहिए लालू प्रसाद को, आपको लगता है कि इसको देखते हुए नीतीश कुमार को अब अपनी सरकार के लिए भी एक कदम उठाना चाहिए, आरजेडी के साथ जो उनका गठबंधन है उस पर दोबारा सोचना चाहिए?
देखिए, नीतीश कुमार जी की चुप्पी आश्चर्यजनक है। केवल कुर्सी बचाने के लिए इस प्रकार के समझौते किए। उन्होंने एक छवि अपनी बनाने की कोशिश की, कानून अपना काम करेगा, कानून का राज कायम करेंगे, भ्रष्टाचारियों से संबंध नहीं रखेंगे, लेकिन केवल सत्ता की खातिर जिस प्रकार समझौते किए उन्होंने, वो आश्चर्यजनक है। अब नीतीश जी को मुंह खोलना चाहिए और उनको बताना चाहिए क्या वो इस प्रकार के आरोपित व्यक्ति के साथ सरकार चलाना चाहते हैं या नहीं चलाना चाहते।
अभी we also have Neeraj Kumar of the JDU who is joining us at the moment. Mr. Kumar, the allegation from the BJP, will your party continue to be in government in the Mahagathbandhan with the RJD as well as Lalu Prasad's cases in Fodder scam are set to be reopened?
First of all, I want to speak in Hindi. पहला यह है कि जो भी न्यायिक फैसले आए हैं उसका मैंने व्यक्तिगत रूप से अवलोकन नहीं किया है। जो मीडिया में खबरें आ रही हैं वह न्यायिक फैसला है, न्यायिक फैसले का सब लोग सम्मान करते हैं, लेकिन इसके आधार पर राजनीतिक सवाल को पेश किया जाना मैं सुन रहा था भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सम्मानित नेता आदरणीय नंदकिशोर यादव जी से। मैं उनसे जानना चाहता हूँ, हमारे ऊपर अगर आरोप लगा रहे हैं तो मैं आपसे यह जानना चाहता हूँ, क्या आपके राजनीतिक सहयोगी के रूप में डॉक्टर जगन्नाथ मिश्रा जी हैं? क्या आपके राजनीतिक सहयोगी के रूप में उस मामले के अभी डॉक्टर जगदीश शर्मा के बेटा को आपने चुनाव में टिकट दिया? क्या आर.के. राणा के बेटा को टिकट दिया? ये सारे लोग उसी मामले के अभियुक्त हैं।
नहीं, पर नीरज कुमार जी, यहाँ पे बात यह है कि चलिए लालू प्रसाद जो है उनके ऊपर पहले कार्रवाई हो चुकी है, वो तो चुनाव लड़ने से रहे, पर आपने उनकी बेटी को ही उप मुख्यमंत्री बना दिया है, उनके दूसरे बेटे को भी कैबिनेट का पोस्ट दिया है। क्या ये सरकार दोबारा सोच विचार करेगी? क्योंकि अब सीबीआई सवाल करेगी, और सीबीआई सवाल जब करेगी तो जनता आपसे भी सवाल करेगी कि क्यों है कि आरजेडी के साथ आपने गठबंधन बनाया हुआ है, क्या ये समझौते की सरकार है?
नहीं, आपने यह सवाल भारतीय जनता पार्टी से क्या इसका जवाब मिला है? उसने क्यों डॉक्टर जगदीश शर्मा, डॉक्टर जगन्नाथ मिश्रा जो भी पशुपालन के अभियुक्त हैं उन लोगों को कैसे सम्मानित किया, उनको अपने साथ कैसे रखा? सवाल मेरा राष्ट्रीय जनता दल के साथ गठबंधन अगर है तो राज्य केंद्रित नीतियों पर है, और हमारा जो महागठबंधन का ये स्वरूप है। अब न्यायिक फैसले आए हैं, मैंने इसका कोई राजनीतिक संदर्भ पर मैं टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन जो लोग राजनीतिक संदर्भ पर टिप्पणी कर रहे हैं पहले अपना आईना चेहरा में देख ले।
पर यहाँ पे ये बात भी आ रही नीरज जी कि क्रिमिनल कॉन्स्पिरेसी की जहां बात आती है और जिस तरह से ट्रायल आगे होगा, वहां पे तो जो जेडीयू की सरकार जब आई है गठबंधन में तब भी ये सवाल उठे कि लालू के साथ क्यों आपने गठबंधन करा है। अब आप जो बात बता रहे हैं कि बीजेपी पे मैं अब सवाल कर रहा हूँ, बीजेपी भी समझाए, पर पहले आरजेडी तो समझाए कि उसका क्या अगला कदम है, जेडीयू तो समझाए उसका क्या अगला कदम है।
हमने लोकसभा चुनाव के तुरंत बाद कहा था कि नई परिस्थिति है, नई चुनौती, हम नए तरीके से मुकाबला करेंगे। हमने कोई छिपाकर गठबंधन नहीं किया, हमने पब्लिक डोमेन में किया, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने छद्म बेस में किया गठबंधन। यही अंतर हम में है।
तो क्या जेडीयू तैयार है? सवाल जो उनपे उछलेंगे, जब कीचड़ उछलता है तो छींटे आप पे भी आएंगे, क्या इसके लिए जेडीयू तैयार है?
हम पर न छींटा आज तक पड़ा है न छींटा पड़ेगा। हमारे इमेज के बारे में देश जानता है, और हम यह जानते हैं कि हमारी सरकार को टारगेट किया जा रहा है, पूरी रीजनल पार्टी को टारगेट किया जा रहा है, और माननीय नीतीश कुमार जी पर लोग टीका टिप्पणी करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। लेकिन वो मुगालते में है, हम अपना काम करते रहेंगे। हम
पर ये तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला है नीरज जी, आप कह रहे हैं टारगेट करा है, ये तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला है। सीबीआई ने अपील करी है, आपको लगता है सीबीआई जो है वो सरकार के दबाव में, केंद्रीय सरकार के दबाव में आके बात कर रही है?
इससे भी कोई इनकार कर सकता है क्या? पत्रकार राजदेव रंजन के हत्याकांड के क्या नतीजे अब तक हैं? ब्रह्मेश्वर मुखिया हत्याकांड के नतीजे अब तक क्या है? ये लोग तो बहुत हंगामा कर रहे थे कि बिहार में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर नहीं है। इसलिए मैं यही बीजेपी कहती थी कि सीबीआई सेंट्रल ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो है वो, मैं ये कहता हूँ कंप्रोमाइज ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन है सीबीआई आज की स्थिति में।
ओके नीरज जी, हमसे बात करने के लिए शुक्रिया। 9 months is what Anusha we have been given to understand is when the court has said that the truth should come out. Give us more details.
So clearly the court has asked for an expedited hearing. These are 4 cases, 4 separate cases which are going against Lalu Prasad Yadav, and in these 4 separate cases the charges of criminal conspiracy he'll be tried for. Now we already know that he's convicted once, which debars him from contesting elections for up to 6 years. If he's convicted any further, that just puts his political career at further stake. And as we've been pointing out, criminal conspiracy is one of the charges that can prove to be an aggravating factor in the other offences. Prevention of Corruption Act and abusing his position as a public official are the prime charges that we are looking at, for which the maximum sentence can lead up to life imprisonment, and in the Prevention of Corruption Act it's up to 7 years.
All right, expedited hearing is what the court has ordered. And Anusha, be with me because we've had a word from the JDU. Neeraj Kumar saying it's an attempt to target our government. It's an attempt to target Nitish Kumar. While he's counter-questioning BJP about the tainted leader list that both the parties seem to be exchanging this morning, here is the important point. JDU saying, yes, we will go ahead with the RJD. JDU saying that it's an attempt to target the regional parties as the court has asked for an expedited hearing in Lalu Prasad's separate cases. The biggest among them is a criminal conspiracy charge that he is set to face CBI heat on. Also, what we're given to understand is that already he served 5 years imprisonment. 2013 with special CBI court had given him that sentence, but at the same time he's been disqualified from contesting any elections. Anusha continues to be with me. Anusha, as you're talking about the expedited hearing from the Supreme Court, it's a death knell, it seems, for the RJD chief's political career.
I mean, that's true. I mean, he's already convicted, though he's out on bail. His conviction stays. The conviction has not been overturned by the Supreme Court. He has merely got a bail. At the same time, if there is any further conviction which comes from the trial court, unless overturned by the High Court, he will, further face disqualification. So, for every consecutive sentence that he gets in separate cases, there is a separate term for disqualification that he'll have to face. So, if these 4 cases are decided for the sake of argument against him, his political career might just end, because up to 24 years exposure, 24, so 24 years plus 6 years here, so clearly that's about over 25 years is what we are looking at. And in that context, we can just think that he will not be able to contest any elections unless he gets relief from any other court.
Absolutely. He's already barred and disqualified from contesting elections after he was convicted earlier by the special CBI court. Anusha, be with me, because here are the big questions that are emerging this morning. First, whether Nitish Kumar can continue to have the Lalu brunt on his government. The second big question is, should now Lalu Prasad also resign as the RJD chief, given the CBI heat that he faces? Third big question is, are we seeing a political upheaval in Bihar with the string of corruption charges against the Mahagathbandhan? Can they continue to be in a Mahagathbandhan? Fourth is, as we're looking at around 24 years plus tenure of a possible conviction of Lalu Prasad, as the Supreme Court says, open all the other cases against him. What would be Lalu Prasad's defense? Anusha, take us through that. You've been following this case very, very closely. We're looking at a 945 crore scam that has been under lens for over 2 decades. Already, several twists and turns in the case, with the CBI holding their ground, continuing their investigation. What has been Lalu Prasad's defense so far? All right, we'll come to you first. Let me go across to Mrityunjay Singh, who's joining us from the RJD. Mr. Singh, your first response. Lalu Prasad, is he ready to face the CBI heat now? मृत्युंजय जी, अगर आप मेरी आवाज सुन सकते हैं इस बार. All right, we'll try and connect with Mrityunjay Singh from the RJD. JD has already spoken against the BJP's demand that now the Samjhauta ka sarkar must end. You can't have a government of compromise with the RJD chief, whose sons are also in the Nitish's cabinet. Prasad has been convicted and sentenced to 5-year jail in one of the cases arising out of Fodder scam, following which he was consequently disqualified from contesting any election. A special CBI court in Ranchi had convicted Prasad earlier in the case relating to fraudulent withdrawal of 37 crore rupees from Chaibasa Treasury in 94. And the CBI had filed latest appeal in the Jharkhand High Court, upholding the agency's plea to continue proceedings in the trial court. And after that, the Supreme Court has now said that yes, open all the cases, let there be trial in separate cases separately. The defense so far from the Lalu's team was that you can't have the same person tried for offense twice. But that defense has been overruled by the Honorable Supreme Court. My colleague Anusha is still with us. Anusha, we were talking about what next for Lalu Prasad's defense team now.
I think to point out, Divina, here that we've looked at a lot of high-profile cases which have dragged on for years. Be it the Babri Masjid demolition case, the criminal case there, or this current case of the Fodder scam, which have stretched over decades. Now, there's a mood in the Supreme Court right now that they want these matters to be, heard expeditiously and at the same time be resolved as soon as possible. We saw a timeline which was given earlier in the Babri case, and clearly here the court is of the opinion that this matter should not drag on any further and there should be speedy justice. There is also a sense here that when the matter involves high-profile names, a lot of tactics, a lot of delaying tactics are tried by various counsel. So Lalu Prasad at the Supreme Court was represented by none other than ace lawyer Ram Jethmalani. And a lot of technical grounds and a lot of delays often lead to such trials stretching over decades. So with this timeline the Supreme Court has given in, the CBI will have to make sure it puts forward all the evidence. The court will have to make sure that there are hearings happening on a day-to-day basis if they can. And also the court has made sure that there are strict guidelines in place to make sure that there is no further delay that happens there.
All right, be with me, Anusha, because we also have Preeti who's joining us in the studio at the moment as we're looking at a setback for Lalu Prasad. Preeti, it's over to you.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Davina. We continue to track that story very closely, but let's shift focus for the time being to this other developing story as we speak. A big allegation made by his own party person, Arvind Kejriwal, today faces a perceptional loss. Let me cut across to Mr. Anna Hazare. He started his movement with Mr. Hazare, Arvind Kejriwal, and today Anna Hazare is joining us for more on that story. Anna ji, जो अभी ये ब्राइब का जो दोष लगा है, जो कपिल मिश्रा ने चार्जेस जो अरविंद केजरीवाल के लिए कहे हैं कि उन्होंने 2 करोड़ रुपए ब्राइब लिया, आपका क्या कहना है उस पे?
पहली बात तो यह है कि अरविंद जब मेरे साथ में थे, हम लोग भ्रष्टाचार के विरोध में जो लड़ाई लड़ रहे थे
जी,
आज उन्हीं का एक मंत्री उन पर आरोप करता, ये मेरे लिए एक दुर्भाग्य की घटना है, ऐसे मैं मानता हूं कि ऐसे एक मंत्री मुख्यमंत्री पर आरोप कर रहा है, तो ये बड़ी दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना है। एक दूसरा है, मंत्री ने जब आरोप लगाए हैं तो मंत्री ने निकलने के बाद आरोप लगाए, ये भी मुझे एक संदेह निर्माण होता है। अगर जिस टाइम निकाला और उसके पहले ये घटना घटी थी तो उसी टाइम पर पहले से मंत्री पद से हम निकलने से पहले ही जनता के सामने जाना जरूरी था। तो मुझे ये अरविंद के बारे में भी ये बड़े दुख की घटना है, और जो मंत्री ने आरोप किया
जी,
इसके बारे में मुझे संदेह है। मैं और विस्तार से स्टडी करूंगा और बाद में विस्तार से बात करूंगा।
जी, आपको लगता है जांच होनी चाहिए अन्ना जी? जांच होनी चाहिए?
हाँ, हाँ, और कोई भी हमारे पर जब आरोप करते हैं तो जांच के लिए हम तैयार होना चाहिए। कर नहीं तो डर किस लिए? अभी देखो, मैं 40 साल से लड़ रहा हूँ। कई बार मंत्रियों ने मेरे ऊपर आरोप किया, मैं बोला जांच करो। एक बार तो जब तक हमारी जांच नहीं होगी तब तक मैं अनशन नहीं छोड़ूंगा। मेरे जांच के लिए भी मैंने अनशन किया। तो ये तैयारी रखना चाहिए। कर नहीं तो डर किस लिए?
अन्ना जी, आपको कैसा लगता है? जैसे हम दो चित्र दिखा रहे हैं अभी हमारे जो व्यूअर्स हैं, एक तरफ है अरविंद केजरीवाल जिन पे उन्हीं के मिनिस्टर ने ऐसे चार्जेस दिए हैं कि उन्होंने 2 करोड़ रुपए घूस ली। दूसरा तरफ हम दिखा रहे हैं लालू प्रसाद जी जिनके अभी केस खुलेंगे उनके अगेंस्ट। आपको कैसा लगता है? क्योंकि आपने जो इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन का जो शुरू किया था, अब ऐसे 2 मंत्री हैं, एक तरफ लालू एक तरफ केजरीवाल।
क्या है, हमारे देश को एक करप्शन से ही बहुत बड़ा खतरा निर्माण हो गया। करप्शन है इस देश को कमजोर कर रहा है और सरकार उसके ऊपर कठोर कानून बनाना चाहिए, उसके लिए हिचकिचाती है। लोकपाल के लिए कितना समय बीत गया। पहली सरकार भी, ये सरकार में भी 3 साल हो गया है। अगर ये लोकपाल आता तो आज करप्शन को काफी बड़े पैमाने पर ब्रेक लगना था।
आपको क्यों लगता है अन्ना जी कि जो अरविंद केजरीवाल हैं उन्होंने कुछ नहीं बोला? वो कहते हैं कि ये जो आरोप लगे हैं इस पे जवाब देना ही जरूरी नहीं है, उनको आना नहीं चाहिए सामने, जनता के सामने। जनता ने उन्हें वहां पे खड़ा किया है कि आके बोले कि मैंने नहीं घूस ली, मैंने ये 2 करोड़ रुपए नहीं लिए। ना वो कुछ बता रहे हैं ना कोई जवाब दे रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं इसमें तो जवाब देने की भी जरूरत नहीं।
भगवान ने एक बात अच्छी बनाई, आपके दिल में क्या है मुझे समझ में नहीं आता और मेरे दिल में क्या है आपको समझ में नहीं आता। अभी उनके दिल में क्या है मैं कैसे समझ सकता हूँ? ये भगवान ने बहुत अच्छी बात बनाई। तो उनके दिल में क्या है मैं कैसे बोल सकता हूँ?
आपको लगता है उन्हें आके कम से कम बोलना तो चाहिए? जो जनता ने जिन्होंने उनको सीएम बनाया उनके सामने अपनी बात रखी एक बार। ये तो घमंडी लग रहे हैं, अभी कुछ बोल ही नहीं रहे हैं।
अभी मैं क्या बताऊं उनके बारे में?
अन्ना जी, आपको लगता है कि कम से कम
अच्छा लगता है वो करते हैं?
आपको लगता है अन्ना जी के अरविंद केजरीवाल को कम से कम आके जनता से बात तो करनी चाहिए इसके बारे में?
लेकिन उनके दिल में क्या गोपनीयता है मुझे पता नहीं। बोलना चाहिए, यहां तक सच है। कर नहीं तो डर क्या है? जिसको कर नहीं उसका डर कोई नहीं होता है। तो वो क्यों नहीं बोल रहे, क्या है मैं कैसे बोल सकता हूँ?
जी,
आप लोग पीछे पड़ो उनके, बोलने के लिए मजबूर करो।
पर आपको लगता नहीं है अन्ना जी, जैसे आपके साथ वो मूवमेंट में बैठे जो इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन थी, आपके साथ रहे, जो जनता से उनका जुड़ाव था अभी वैसा जुड़ाव नहीं रहा है?
नहीं, क्या है, जब से उन्होंने पार्टी निकाली और पार्टी बनने के बाद मुख्यमंत्री बने, तब से उनका और हमारा रास्ता अलग अलग हो गया। अभी हमारा उनका कोई रास्ता एक नहीं है। वो क्या करते हम पता नहीं। इसलिए दोनों का रास्ता अलग होने के कारण मैं नहीं कह सकता हूं कि उन्होंने ये करना उन्होंने वो करना है
जी,
क्योंकि हमारा रास्ता अलग हो गया अभी।
जी, पर आपके दिल में थोड़ा दर्द तो होता ही होगा अन्ना जी जब आप ये देखते हैं, क्योंकि ये आप ही के लोग हैं।
थोड़ा नहीं, बहुत दर्द हो रहा है। मैं कैसे बताऊं लोगों को कितना दर्द हो रहा है? ये थोड़ा दर्द नहीं, बहुत बड़ा दर्द है।
क्यों अन्ना जी?
लेकिन अभी पीना पड़ेगा, क्या कर सकते हैं।
इतना बुरा क्यों लग रहा है आज आपको?
नहीं, मैं तो देश के बारे में सपना देखता है, समाज का एक सपना देखता है। महात्मा गांधी ने जो सपना देखा था, बलशाली भारत, और उस देश में ये ऐसी बातें जो होती है, इससे मुझे बड़ा दुख होता है। क्या इसलिए कुर्बानी हुई? 1857 से 1947 तक लाखों लोगों ने कुर्बानी दी हमारे आजादी के लिए। क्या वो कुर्बानी व्यर्थ हो गई? प्रश्न खड़े हो जाते हैं, इसलिए अब दुख होता है।
जी जी अन्ना जी, आप हमारे साथ बने रहिए क्योंकि हम ये दो स्टोरीज फॉलो कर रहे हैं। जो दो खबर हैं, डेवलपिंग स्टोरीज हैं। एक तरफ अरविंद केजरीवाल, दूसरे तरफ लालू। हमारे साथ अभी सुशील मोदी जी बने हैं बीजेपी से, जो हमारे साथ लाइव हैं अभी। सुशील मोदी, अप्रिशिएट यू जॉइनिंग अस सर ऑन इंडिया टुडे। एट दिस जंक्चर, इफ इट इज दैट द नीतीश गवर्नमेंट डिसाइड्स, इफ जो गठबंधन है जो अभी जो है आरजेडी और जेडीयू के बीच में, अगर नीतीश जी वो तोड़ते हैं, क्या बीजेपी उनको समर्थन देगी?
देखिए, अभी ये हाइपोथेटिकल क्वेश्चन है। मैं जानता हूं कि नीतीश कुमार कभी गठबंधन नहीं तोड़ेंगे। वो चाहेंगे कि लालू कमजोर बने रहें, और लालू जब कमजोर बने रहेंगे तो उनको तंग और परेशान कम करेंगे। तो नीतीश कुमार विल बी मोर कंफर्टेबल विद अ वीक लालू प्रसाद यादव, so will not be able to interfere in day-to-day affairs of administration. So his two sons will kneel down before Lalu and Nitish Kumar. So Lalu Yadav, Nitish Kumar want a weak Lalu Yadav. Lalu Yadav is convicted. Lalu Yadav is being tried in different cases. So Lalu Yadav will not be able to bully Nitish Kumar. So this is a question, hypothetical question that.
But Mr. Sushil Modi, politics is about a lot of hypothetical questions which strangely do turn into reality. Let's even answer a hypothetical question for us today, sir. If Nitish takes the high moral ground, Mr. Modi, just hear the question, sir. If Nitish Kumar today, if JDU today takes the high moral ground and say they do not want to continue with their association when it comes to the RJD, if he does that, is BJP willing to support Nitish?
Now, see, I will not answer this question today. But
so it's open.
You must be knowing that Nitish was most comfortable in the company of BJP. His golden years of his political life was when he was with Atal Bihari Vajpayee, when he was with BJP in Bihar, when he was the chief minister, and he must be repenting his alliance with Lalu Prasad Yadav. But when the time comes, we will decide. But as on today,
yes,
I don't see Nitish Kumar breaking alliance. As I said earlier, he is most comfortable in such a situation because Lalu Yadav will not be able to bully him. He will not be able to interfere in day-to-day administration. So he would like a weak party like RJD in alliance with Nitish Kumar. So when the time comes, we will decide, we will think over it, and all these questions are to be decided with the central leadership of party. It is not the state BJP, and the time has not come still.
Right.
But I told you earlier that Nitish Kumar was always comfortable with BJP, and he will never be comfortable with men like Lalu Prasad Yadav.
You know, you're contradicting yourself, Mr. Modi, but it's interesting that you at least point out the fact that you're open. The time is not right now, but the fact that you're saying that, you know, when the time comes, we'll take that decision, that clearly suggests that you're open to it. But you're contradicting yourself, sir. At one end, you're saying that it's better that he is with Lalu because Lalu is on a weak footing, but on the other hand, he was best suited with the BJP. Mr. Modi, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I've never said that it is open, but in politics, nothing is closed. And this Naveen Patnaik, this Mayawati, this Mamata Banerjee, this man like Nitish Kumar,
okay,
all of them had earlier also with BJP, and in the future also anybody can come with BJP.
Right.
So where is the question of any ideology for such people?
Right.
When Nitish Kumar can remain with BJP for 17 years, even after Godra he remained with BJP. Even when Narendra Modi was Chief Minister of Gujarat, he visited Gujarat, he praised Narendra Modi, he was with BJP. So these things are irrelevant for Nitish Kumar, for Mayawati, for Naveen Patnaik, or for Mamata Banerjee. But when the time comes, the central leadership will take a call and will decide, and then they will decide what to do, what not to do.
One quick question also, Mr. Modi. Now, like you said, and I'm just taking off from what you said, that anything is possible when it comes down to politics. What do you have to say about the murmurs, the rumors that are abound, which go on to suggest that what is happening today in Bihar is something which is engineered by the BJP, that the alliance between RJD-JDU breaks and the JDU comes back with the BJP.
See, if Nitish Kumar, if Lalu Yadav is talking to Shahabuddin, where the BJP comes into the picture, if Lalu Yadav, 2 sons and his wife, they've amassed crores and crores of rupees wealth which BJP is exposing for the last 1 month, where the BJP comes into picture, if they would not have earned, they would not have collected such a huge amount of money, the BJP would not have able to expose. So it is not that BJP is engineering. They have done these crimes, and we are exposing all these things and bringing in the public domain. So it is not the question of BJP engineering any split or BJP exposing or BJP giving some leaks to the media. And yesterday also I said that the tape conversation which is in the media, who gave that to the media house? Was not this tapping being done by the Bihar government? This conversation between Lalu Yadav and Shahabuddin, who gave order for such kind of tapping? It was on the instruction of Nitish Kumar. And Nitish Kumar also knew about the conversation, the tappings. But Nitish Kumar enjoyed, so he can bring Lalu Prasad under control.
Okay. So one last question. Mr. Modi, before we let you go, what would be your advice to Nitish Kumar at this point of time? You've been former colleagues as well. What would you suggest?
So I don't give free advice. And I know Nitish Kumar don't need any advice. He's more intelligent, he's more sharp, he's more shrewd. He knows everything, when to do, what to do, so where to do. So so
does political prudence demands of Nitish that he breaks his alliance with RJD and comes back to the BJP?
No, I don't think he will break alliance. I don't think so. And he will try to continue. I said earlier that he knows that either with BJP or not with BJP, he is not going to become a prime minister.
But why do you think, Mr. Modi, he doesn't want to come back to the BJP? Is it an ego issue with Mr. Modi? With Mr. Narendra Modi?
It's not a question of ego. It is not the question of ego. But I think whatever call is to be taken, it is by the Nitish Kumar. And if any situation arises, the call is to be taken by not the state unit, by the central leadership of the BJP.
All right. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Sushil Modi. The BJP right there, putting it out, stating that when the time comes, if Nitish needs the BJP, a call would be taken by the central leadership. We continue tracking the story very closely right here on India Today.